Bonjour, it's Danisha and welcome back to another video. As you can see by the title, today we are doing another sketchbook tour. I know it's right after I posted my Studio Ghibli sketchbook tour, but it's been delayed for a while and this time I finally have the time to walk you guys through all of the paintings that I have. And before I forget, this sketchbook that I'm about to show you is a Moleskine art watercolor album. It's a hardcover pocket sketchbook and is 3.5 inch by 5.5 inch. It has 60 pages and there are 200 GSM. I just want to get out of the way because I know I will forget and a bunch of you guys comment, so this is the sketchbook that I use. Alright, let's see what's in this sketchbook. And please ignore the cover. I had some stickers which I didn't like. I thought I could peel it off nicely. It wasn't nicely, so we're gonna ignore that for now and go to the first page, which is in the painting. It's in case of loss, please return to blah blah blah, which is Danisha, and as a reward you get a bunch of hearts. I didn't put a lot of my details because I don't think I will lose it because it's always kept close to heart, dear to my heart, and it's a pocket sketchbook, so it's pretty easy to keep. Actually, if it's small, I could lose it, but I don't think I'll lose it. If I do, I'll cry. But I also wanted to add a little saying that was dear to me at the time I was starting this sketchbook, and it reads as, "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become," by James Clear. So I was reading one of his books on changing habits, and yeah, I wanted to kind of set goal or a reminder when I was opening this sketchbook. So for the first painting, I really like looking at the sky and the clouds, and I wanted to paint it. So I wanted to put a lot of focus on the clouds and the sky itself, which is why the foreground, which is the plant and the pole, is all black, and that's the way you can put all the focus on something that you want, which was my background. And I was also practicing how to use gouache, acrylic gouache, and yeah, the paint turned out to be thick. From the close-up shot you'll see. But yeah, I still like how it turned out. It was a lot of practicing for me, and throughout the sketchbook, a lot of the paintings that I do is just trying to practice my art style and work with paint and paint clouds since I really like it. And for my next painting, again, there's the similar trend of painting a blue sky, but since I like doing the first painting, I kind of wanted to bring in that little element, but also add something else that I wanted to do, which is painting these flowers. And these flowers is called bougainvillea. That's how you say it in French, I know, but I think in English it's bougainvillea. But I think if you've seen these flowers, you know what flower it is, and I wanted to kind of bring in my art style, add this flower and make it pop out in front of the blue sky. And I really like painting on both pages. It just has so much more of an impact when you look at it. So yeah, I hope that you guys like looking at it too. And for my next painting, I did realize that I was doing a lot of blue sky, so I wanted to switch it up and paint a different type of sky, which is the sunset sky. And this one, I wanted to try to practice blending different colors. For this one, it started with blue, purple, went into some red, yellow, and orange. So I wanted to put focus on that as well, which is why the foreground has black buildings and then black trees. I forgot how to say that word for a second. But yeah, now I could put all the focus on painting the clouds, which was pretty interesting to paint purple clouds and dark blue ones and orange clouds. But I think if you look at it from far, it looks pretty nice. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that painting. And following the trend of painting sky, I did the daytime sky, the sunset sky. I guess it's now time to do the night sky. So another thing that I like looking at is the moon, and I wanted to paint it. I saw this picture on Pinterest and I loved the clouds that was purple. It just kind of created some emotion in me, so I wanted to have it in my sketchbook. This is the usual thing. I see something, I want it in my sketchbook. So yeah, I tried painting the moon. Again, I do tend to struggle with using white, so it kind of becomes thick paint because I have used to be more of an acrylic artist, so you can play around with thick colors. And now that I use gouache, I don't know how to like let go of this part. So yeah, I mean, it's just practicing. I'll get better eventually the more I practice. And yeah, I still enjoy painting the clouds. For this one, I actually use a fluffy brush, and I was just having a lot of fun. And for my next painting, I was really inspired by a picture that I saw on Pinterest. I love painting nature. If you guys haven't seen my video, this is what makes me happy and it's easier to paint. And I saw this picture, it looks so dreamy and cozy and aesthetic, so I wanted to put it in my sketchbook. I wanted to play around with the brushstroke, which is something I've been trying to learn and figure out what's my art style. So yeah, I kind of just went into it and blended some colors. I also wanted to learn how to paint a willow tree. So I tried doing that. It didn't look how I wanted to look like. My brain wanted something, but my hand did something else. But I think it still turned out decent. And for my next painting, it was around springtime and all the cherry blossom was coming out and I wanted to make a painting for it. So for this one, I actually use gouache, and it's acrylic gouache, I mean, and that's why you're gonna see the texture might look different. So it's a mix between me using Himi gouache set and then acrylic gouache, and this one, it's kind of like glazed over, so that's what I used for it. So I was just playing around with my brushstroke again, just kind of like dotting, putting some dots for the pink and then the bushes, and then for the clouds again, I'm still trying to practice, but I still like how it turned out. It's kind of a tiny painting and it reminds me of the time I painted that. And for the next one, it's another flowery bush. I really like what I did previously, so I wanted to do it again on both pages. So yeah, this time I wanted to add a second layer of just green bush or tree. And actually I did find this on Pinterest. It was a picture. I wanted to copy it and put it in my own art style, and yeah, I think if you look at this from far, it looks nice. I mean, I guess it looks nice close up because you get to see the brushstroke, but anyway, moving on. For my next painting, I actually got this inspiration after looking at a postcard. So it's a picture of Mount Rainier, and yeah, I really like the art style that was used in it. So I basically just wanted to copy it first in my sketchbook, and then by doing this, you can find out what is this one thing that pulled you into this painting, what really made you enjoy it. So that's one thing you can do if you want to find out your art style and see what you like about your favorite artist. So yeah, that's basically what was this painting about. I think I really like how they simplified the mountain just to add some shadows, some colors, but not too many, and just choose a limited amount of colors and make sure that they'll come together perfectly. And for my next painting, it was one of those days I didn't have much time to paint, but I wanted to paint something, and this painting is from a picture that I took myself when I was visiting California. It was a lemon tree, so I tried to take what I had learned from my previous painting into this one, just try to simplify it as much as I could and choose specific colors, and yeah, this is what I came up with. And as you can see, I am still learning how to use gouache, and I tend to use thick layers sometimes, so from the close-up shot you're gonna see that the paint is pretty thick and it kind of like dried and cracked, but it's okay, it's fine. And for my next painting, I had told myself when I was starting this sketchbook, I am not gonna paint any Studio Ghibli scene because my previous sketchbook was just full of it, but I think it was one of those days I was kind of inspired, and whenever I am inspired, I just go watch a Studio Ghibli movie, and I saw this scene again and I wanted to paint it. I think it's fine. It's not every page that's Studio Ghibli now, but I could break it off by adding one scene from it, and this one I really enjoy painting it because I wanted to learn how to paint grass and also kind of put it in my own style. So there was a lot of details that went into it, but I like putting specific details that was close to that building, and then as you go further you don't have to put as much details. So yeah, I still like how it turned out. And I think that you and me are both gonna agree that this is one of my favorite painting. I don't know about you, but I love this painting. Sometimes I look at my painting, I'm like, I don't know how I did that, because I think if I try to do it again, I don't know if it's gonna turn out the same, but I just love this painting. So after I did that Studio Ghibli painting, I got inspired again, and then a few days later I saw this picture on Pinterest of this landscape. I love painting landscape and nature, and it had everything that I like, and I wanted to paint it. So I kind of just opened my paint colors and started painting it. So yeah, I really enjoy painting the grass, and for the man-made stuff, it was pretty small, so I could deal painting it. I like painting nature more, and when it was time to paint the trees and the mountain, it was so much fun to add this brushstroke. I did kind of get overwhelmed painting the top part with the branch and the leaves. I think this could be better, but it still looked nice, so I'm happy about it. And this painting is from one of my videos, which I titled Make Bad Paintings. And by the way, all of this painting are up in my channel, and if you guys are interested, you can go and watch a lot of the paint with me session. And also, before I continue, if you're interested in getting any prints of it, let me know down below, because I'm actually curious if you guys would be interested in buying them, and I could start planning to see if I could open a shop and figure out how this whole thing works. But anyway, for this one, it wasn't my favorite painting. I've been painting a lot of sky, so I wanted to try painting water because I've seen artists that paint it so beautifully. Well, I didn't. I mean, I don't hate it. Okay, I don't hate it. I think it's a good way to practice. I can see the similar art style of painting trees and the sky is trying to come into the water. I think I just need to practice more and more and see different references, and then slowly I'll be able to figure out how to paint water in my own style. As for the next one, I wanted to paint another landscape since the water wasn't too much of a success. So yeah, I only had time to paint a tiny landscape and I really enjoyed doing that. Well, actually, it was kind of hard for me to paint this pathway and add the shadows. As you can see, there's like a lot of layers that I end up putting because I was trying to correct it and overcorrecting it. But again, we can look at it from far and be happy with it. Oh no. This is another Studio Ghibli painting. I can't remember from what movie that was. But again, I was scrolling for Pinterest as I always do, and I saw this one, so I wanted it in my sketchbook, and that is basically the story for it. I wanted to practice painting grass and just play around with how the lights were hitting the grass. So yeah, I just wanted to have that, and I really like doing it. So for my next painting, since I've been doing a lot of painting from looking at pictures and other reference, I wanted to do a painting from observation because it's a good way to keep practicing and keep your artist's mind alive. I don't know if that made sense, but I know when I was studying art in high school, we did a lot of painting from observation, so I wanted to bring this back, and I had gotten this bouquet of roses, and wow, I'm so excited that I can't speak. And I really liked it, so I just basically placed it down in front of me and started painting it. So yeah, that's how it turned out. Okay, for my next one, are you surprised? It is another Studio Ghibli scene. This one is from Kiki's Delivery Service, and I really like, well, I didn't put her, but I really like the room that she was in. I can't remember the scene specifically, but I know this screen cap and I wanted it to my sketchbook because I painted a lot of green, but this scene did a really good job of painting so many different colors of green and adding purple and painting the flowers. So I wanted to practice that in my sketchbook. I did it in a tiny one, but I really like how it turned out too. And for my next painting, it was actually coming around Halloween time, and I was trying to make a video, 3 ideas what to paint for Halloween. And this was an idea I got from Pinterest where you could just do a black and white painting, also it could be a sketch, but then you add the light coming in with your paint. So that's the only thing that kind of shines through. So I really like the look of it, and I wanted to do a simple one in my sketchbook. Alright, and this paintings, I think it was around the time I realized that a lot of people were really enjoying my how to paint Studio Ghibli style paintings. So yeah, if you're interested about it, I'll link down below about those tutorials that I made. So I had made one on how to paint bush, and I wanted to show you guys now how to paint mountains Studio Ghibli style. But one feedback that I got, it was that it was too small because my schedule was too small, so it was kind of hard to tell. So I might do a video repainting of this one, so be on the lookout for that. But I still like how this page turned out. I wanted to show how to paint Green Mountain, a different colored one, a very snowy one, so yeah, I think it's really cute in it. Oh, and this one was from another video that I had titled Make Bad Paintings Again and Again. So yeah, this is basically me after I hate my painting, but I actually don't really hate it now that I look at it. It's just when I was painting it, I don't know why, I just didn't like how I was doing it, and you can tell I kind of just got lazy for some of the details. But I think it's still fine to kind of just learn from each and every painting that I make. And one of the things that I took from it was I really liked the way I painted the roses in this. So yeah, I still think we can all learn from any paintings that we do, and I'm glad I have it in my sketchbook. And for this one, I was really trying to simplify the way I paint because I tend to add a lot of layers, which is not a bad thing, but I was trying to play around with art style, see what else I can do. And this time I tried to limit my color palette with just like some blues and greens and white. I was really tending to kind of like mix more colors, but I really had to stop myself. But yeah, it's not my favorite painting again, but I still like it. I still like the colors that I chose. And yeah, for the next one, it was a quick sketch for when I was in Italy, Positano, and I had brought this with me because I wanted to sketch and do paintings. Well, this was the only time I actually did a painting. I should do it more often, but I was happy that I still got the time to make this one painting. It's really quick. I think I had like 2 hours to do it, and I had like a nice day. It was around 2-3 p.m. The day was slowing down, the weather was perfect, it was not too hot, and I had a terrace, so I basically set up my painting stuff on a terrace in my table, and then I started painting. So yeah, if you look closely, you'll see it's a bunch of like random brushstroke, but I think I was able to pull it well together, and yeah, I definitely should be doing this more often, so maybe I'll get another pocket sketchbook to paint when I travel. And now I just realized that this sketchbook definitely went from spring to autumn, because now these are painting from fall. So I wanted to paint something that had colorful trees in it, and again I saw this painting on Pinterest, so I wanted to add it. I wanted to paint this house, and then the next page right on top I wanted to paint the view from the house. So yeah, again I wanted the foregrounds to be black so I could put more focus on the outside, and I added this little cat because it's cute. And for my next painting, it is another painting from Studio Ghibli. I wanted to paint a scene from Totoro. I really like how the sky looked at, which is purple. I don't really paint that. And then the way they painted the clouds were super nice, because it started kind of like from yellow, went into purple, light purple, and dark. So I used one of my weekends to make a quick painting out of it. Going back to my fall trend painting, I did this next painting, which was something that I saw on Pinterest. So I had seen the picture first, and I had seen someone else painting that picture, and I really liked the art style that they had. So again, I wanted to bring it into my sketchbook and try to pick out what is something that I really enjoy about that artwork, and kind of like add my own style in it, and this is what I came up with. And this next painting was from that video, What to Paint for Halloween. I wanted to paint this nice cozy scene with candles and a nice cup of coffee with the pumpkin. And then I also added the second page, which is something that you could just do doodle. Sketchbook doesn't have to have finished painting. You can literally just doodle anything and have fun with it. So yeah, I kind of wanted to have this both on the same sketchbook spread, and I really enjoyed doing it. And this next painting is just so cute. It's nothing more than me going for Pinterest. I saw this picture of those two ghosts in this cornfield, and I wanted to add it in my sketchbook. I had like an hour to do it, actually less than an hour, so I was pretty quick in adding those layers, and I finished it up with some line art. And for my next painting, I kind of wanted to do this sketch and just kind of have fun with my art supply, because I did a lot of painting that seemed finished, and I know sketchbook isn't supposed to be about that. I just enjoy making finished painting, but I wanted to do that to remind you guys that a sketchbook can just be random sketches of random things. And yeah, I still wanted to show you what this was about. So yeah, this was from one of this challenge, an art challenge, where you dip some cord into paint and then you press it in between this paper and pull it, and then whatever you see, just do a sketch out of it. So somehow I saw a waterfall and a moon, and then for the next one I saw a vase with flowers. So yeah, I really like looking at it. I think I should definitely keep a sketchbook where I could do a lot of sketches with it. Okay, and as we're coming close to the end of the sketchbook, I wanted to paint more Studio Ghibli scene. Can't remember the exact title of this movie. I do have this painting up on my channel with the name of it. It's like Castle something something. But I really like the scene because it has man-made stuff, but also like nature kind of took over part of it. So it was a lot of fun for me to paint it, because I don't like painting man-made object because it has to be measured, but because there was like the leaf and bushes kind of taking over, it didn't have to be perfect. You can just kind of cover it. So yeah, this was a lot of fun to paint, and I really like how it turned out. And I'm not gonna even have an excuse. It was my last sketchbook page. I wanted to make my final painting a Studio Ghibli one. Especially, I think one of you guys had commented that you want to see a painting from ocean waves. So yeah, there was a lot more scene that was aesthetic in it, but because I hadn't painted an ocean in a while, I wanted to paint it. Just overlook the characters. They're not the perfect looking one, but you can tell who they are. I just want to put more focus on the ocean and the background, and yeah, that's it. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what was your favorite painting, and if you would like to see prints of it, I would be interested and excited to kind of set up something. But yeah, other than that, I will see you in the next one. Allez, bye!